Next team up in our Premier League previews is Liverpool. Just love doing that noise. So let's talk about the team who definitely have to answer a few questions after a really successful season, selling arguably one of the best players in the world at that point and never really replacing him and trying to fill it in with makeshift players here and there. Are they doing the same this transfer window? I think so, but that's just my own biased opinion. I would love to see Liverpool have a rejuvenated campaign. It was so refreshing to see them make that run for the Premier League a couple of seasons back. I would like to see it again, but based on the signings that I have seen them make so far to this point, I don't think so. I think they're just raiding Premier League teams again. And it leads me to the question is, how much influence does Brendan Rodgers have over his transfers? Is the board at Liverpool making more of these transfer decisions than he is? So let's take a quick look at who's been coming in and out of Liverpool this season. So in one of the most notable signings, James Milner, I think he will be a resourceful acquisition to Liverpool's team. He can play anywhere in the middle to wide right, sometimes even drop back into playing right or left back. I think he's, I've talked about him before, he's a journeyman. If he was to be a footballer, was ever a different trade, he would be a plumber. I said this to the truth all day because he is very useful, don't get me wrong, and he can be essential in games, but is he going to change the way of life at Liverpool, the way Luis Suarez did, the way I think Sturridge did? No, I don't think so, but he will be useful. So Danny Ings, a very successful season at Burnley. Is this just not similar to Ricky Lambert? I know they're different players, and Danny Ings has got a lot more movement up top. He's very quick. He's got a good finish on him. But he's a lower team player who stands out. He's that big fish in the small pond. Now he's coming into a very big pond where he's expected to mix it with the biggest and the baddest and the best in the league. Will he be able to live up to this? I hope so. I love to see this happen. I love to see when players from small teams really do stand out. But I am worried that looking at Liverpool's past with Lambert last year, it might just be a story that's just going to play on repeat again, and it'll be unfortunate for Brendan Rodgers. So another signing there, Adam Bogdan coming in from Bolton, Joe Gomez from Charlton, Firmino, who has been highly tipped as a resourceful wide player who is very talented. I look forward to seeing him play. This is a signing I agree with. Nathaniel Klein coming in. As we know, you see him in the England jersey. He's a very talented player. He looks and plays very similar to Glenn Johnson in his day, but the errors, I think, will be very minimalised, and the memes and jokes won't be as focused on him as they were on Glenn Johnson. And of course, the other one, Christian Benteke, who some pundits have said he is one of the best attacking players when he gets into the box. Another signing for me that will be useful. So is this much different than a Wilfred Bony going from Swansea to Manchester City? I don't know. Benteke, when he's on, he's on. I say this a lot about many players because I don't think he's the essential star striker that you could bring in that everyone's going to go, wow, he's played at such a high level. Wow, he's going to come in and absolutely turn things around. Now, Benteke is a horror to play against. Don't get me wrong. He's strong. He's great in the air. And towards the end of Aston Villa's season, he looked definitely a striker that you can imagine playing at a high level. But again, injuries, inconsistency. They need strikers and players who are going to be there week in, week out, like the Suarez and Sturridge combination. Now, we know Sturridge is out till October. Is Benteke going to be the man to give them that boost at the start of the season? Again, I hope so. I hate to see teams that don't start well in the season, teams that I would like to see make a resurgence towards the top end of the table after Liverpool's, it has to be said, failed season, coming back into the Champions League, then to not making it again. You'd like to see them there. Liverpool should be in the Champions League. Those two just go together. And without Stevie Gerrard there this year, you're kind of rooting for the underdog. So can we go back just to see the players that moved out from Liverpool? So Stevie Gerrard, obviously the most notable. Glenn Johnson, I'm sure some of the fans will not be too disappointed to see him on his way out. And of course, the signing at the bottom. I've said of course about a million times, but I don't care. Because of course, I'll take a line from Cenk Uygur. Raheem Sterling, we knew he was moving. Some people asked me the question at the start of the preseason, oh, but he's going on the preseason tour. Maybe he actually will stay. No, he doesn't want to play there. He never did. Not since the start of this season. Raheem Sterling's thoughts were with other teams as soon as he pulled on the Liverpool jersey without Suarez next to him, without a team that was going to make another challenge at the title. That was clear for me. So let's take a look at what I think, my own personal opinion, Liverpool should be playing with their starting 11 this season with injuries coming back. I'll take that into account as well. Take a walk with me, people. So here is my ideal, and don't get me wrong, this probably won't happen because Brendan Rodgers likes to tinker with his formation for Liverpool. And the reason why I went with a 4-3-3 is because I think that they need to play to what their strengths will be. And I know they conceded and leaked a bunch of goals last year, but from what I have seen, they haven't added an adequate defensive midfielder yet to lead that. Yes, Lucas can come in and play some games. Jordan Henderson can drop deep. But I think if they have a middle three that work well together with your Milner, Coutinho and Henderson, they can rely on that attacking threat to keep opponents pinned in their own area. When you've seen throughout their peak Suarez, Sterling and Sturridge linking together, I think that they can try and reincarnate that. Of course, they don't have the attacking threat of Luis Suarez, but what they do have this season is Benteke, who will be starting, I think, centre forward with Sturridge out injured until October. This could change around, but I have heard a lot and I've seen glimpses of Firmino. Maybe he can be someone to come in and rejuvenate that wide area and take up from where Sterling potentially left off. And Lallana, I think we need to see more of him because he's got glimpses of sheer brilliance. And I like Lallana on the right-hand side, cutting in onto his left foot, and he's very good with both feet. He's very tricky in and around the box. I know Rodgers was toying with playing him deeper. I think you have to keep him up top with that 4-3-3. But this isn't going to be the problem, because if Liverpool find that recipe to start ticking when they go forward, they will score goals against teams, but it's conceding. And the first thing that you'll notice from our back line is there's no Lovren in there, because I criticised him just as much as I criticised Company, just as much as I criticised Mertesacker. Who else did I criticise? Johnny Evans last year, because I just didn't think that he had a good season. Obviously, he didn't get the protection that he had before with Southampton, with Wanyama in there, sorry. I know him from Celtic times, great defensive midfielder. And Schneiderlin in there as well. He came into this Liverpool team without that backbone that he had expected from Southampton, but based on his transfer fee, you expect him to be able to handle these things. But no, I'm slamming down my gavel. He had a terrible first season. No excuse for some of the decisions he made. He would come all the way out of the back, make poor decisions. So don't get me wrong, he probably is a great centre-back when he is in that system that he prefers. But at the moment, Skrtel and Sacco, for me, are going to be the two centre-backs in which I'm going to go for. Klein coming in and Moreno at left-back, who needs to watch how far he pushes forward as well. That horseshoe movement, Moreno comes up, Klein tucks in. They need to make sure to have that driven into their team. But it's going to be one right here. This is where Liverpool are going to win games, when they do not fear their opponents, especially at home, and start banging in the goals with that free-flowing football that they had before with, obviously, the talented Suarez, Sterling, and Sturridge. I say this so many times I almost forget. But with likes of Danny Ings in there, they maybe have some fluency where they can toy some players around. They definitely have the depth now, but they just need to find that right recipe. Do you think this 4-3-3 could work? I think they might have a different formation home and away. Brendan Rodgers likes to change based on the teams he plays against, and I think that's a good strategy to have, but you have to have consistency. You have to have a strong midfield that works well together. Henderson, Milner and Coutinho have got that work rate. Coutinho might sit a little higher. Milner and Henderson can alternate between who drops deeper. Who knows? Let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. And as always, subscribe here to TRT Sports. Drop the mic.